You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Palace of Mega Pencils. This is Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo!
Welcome to Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo. I'm your host, Stephen White. With me, as always, is my co-host, Lacey Finley.
Oh, well, happy Monday.
Returning to the show this week is one of the busiest podcasters we know, a stalwart of such shows as Epic Fails of History, Too Young for This Trek, and Super Switch Club, who's been making the rounds on his Super Mario Super Tour, appearing on several different podcasts, kicking off and discussing a wide range of Mario media in the newest season of the award-winning series Podcasters Assemble, which he edits and joins in on, kicks off next month with the Indiana Jones franchise. Please welcome back Erik Slader.
Thank you so much for having me back. It's been a minute, at least on this podcast.
Now technically, if we want to get very specific about it, this would be your third appearance on the show because you were a guest spot and then you had a special appearance on our 200th episode. So
that's right.
This
This
does make number 3.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me back. You guys are awesome. I listen to the podcast regularly and it's always a good time. And I'm pretty excited to be here.
Well, we do appreciate it.
We're pretty fun.
We think
I
so.
think so.
Yeah.
I can confirm. You guys are great to listen to while I'm doing the dishes. So that's the mark of a good podcast.
It makes things go by a little better for you. We got to do adult stuff.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
it's a way to get through all that adulting. But I do want to mention, Steven is actually a big component of this upcoming season of Podcasters Assemble. Your voice is in the intro, so
That is true.
yeah, it's definitely something to look forward to.
Yeah, I just I wanted to contribute, and you gave me the opportunity, so I put my best foot forward as best I could, and
that's all you can
tried
do.
to come up with something unique and fun, and I think it came out all right.
No, it came out great.
As always,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah?
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no, I understand. I always sell myself short, too.
Yeah, no, it's the humbleness in me. So a little business up top. Happy Easter to anyone who celebrates all that. If you enjoyed your day yesterday hunting eggs and whatnot. And if you're not a big fan of that.
I keep forgetting about it every year.
I forgot until this morning and I saw all this Easter stuff and I was like, oh yeah, it is Easter today, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you're not a fan of it, I'm going to recommend.
We mean yesterday.
Well, yesterday,
for
sure.
immersion.
Sure. So I'm going to recommend just a little something. Not trying to offend anyone, but it may. The band Ghost, which I'm a huge fan of, released a brand new video this week.
Oh.
And boy, oh boy, they're going to ruffle some feathers.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Ghost. I'm going to have to go check it out.
Because it is pointing out the hypocrisy of evangelical ministers. And I'll just leave it there. You want to go look it up, look up their newest video. I think it's something along the lines of Jesus Loves Me, or I can't remember the name of the title specifically. But they just dropped it today. But so for anyone listening today, it's yesterday. So appropriate timing for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Appropriate for sure. Yeah. I keep forgetting until other people remind me. And I'm like, oh, yeah, people do that, right? Cool. I would do what you do. It's just another Sunday to me.
Right.
Totally.
And to even add to that, if you want a good laugh, at least I found it to be humorous, is Saturday Night Live took another pot shot at the man who thinks he's untouchable And,
honestly, I skip that stuff anymore. I'm over it. Let's get over it and let's move on. He
But
does a great Trump, but I'm over
Yeah,
it. I won't
it's
even
played
watch those
out.
skits anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like, leave it alone. Stop giving him.
I wish he would just
I
go
know.
away at this point. Like,
I really do too.
like,
Just
fuck
go
that
away,
guy. So
man.
sorry.
no.
Anyway, sorry, Steven. Go ahead. I'm sure it was funny.
I'm 100% with you, but they took the opportunity to do a bit of a Last Supper thing at the beginning, and then suddenly he interrupts. He's like, "This is me. It's me. That's who they're talking about. It's me." And I was like, "Yeah."
Is it an NFT of him at the dinner table with all of his 12 friends?
No, he was just pointing out how the plight of Jesus Christ is very similar to the plight he's going through.
Oh,
A man who was wrongly
Oh,
convicted.
That's true. No, I have heard other people comparing it to that, like how Jesus was persecuted for his beliefs as well.
If anything, he's the
And it's
Judas.
just-
He's the one stabbing everyone else in the back.
Right. Well, that not according to him, no. But there was if you watch it for anything, it's about 5 minutes long, so it won't waste a lot of your time. But there was a bit because as they did the shtick, the 12 wise men and Jesus are sitting in the background of the Last Supper, and they froze. Okay, so everybody is in a frozen pose as he's sitting there talking.
Yeah.
And eventually he starts looking back, realizing what they're doing, and starts playing on that. And you can see they're trying not to break
Oh.
as he's
Didn't
sitting
they
there
just
poking
do
fun.
a skit about that though, and then the guy ended up painting them? Like it
Oh,
was how
wow.
they ended up being painted, or was that? Am I getting another show?
Was that History of the
confused?
World Part 2?
It might have been.
yeah.
I
Just
just said
watched
it out
that,
loud. I
yeah.
was like, wait a minute. Okay, never mind. Disregard.
Also another great...
Lace is getting all of her media confused.
Yeah, but also another great recommendation had you not checked that out, which we've talked about here before.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
One more recommendation that I want to throw out there, which I started watching yesterday, and it's if you've got Apple TV Plus or whatever, I started watching The Reluctant Traveler with Eugene Levy.
Oh,
Have you guys seen
okay.
that?
No.
I started to until I saw it was legit a reality type show with him traveling, and
Yeah.
then I lost interest. I like Eugene Levy. It's just that style of show doesn't really grab my attention.
Sure, and I was a little hesitant at first. Now, the reason I wanted to check it out is it reminded me of another show that I absolutely love called An Idiot Abroad.
Yeah.
With Carl
That's a
Pilkington,
good one.
because it reminded me of that, because it's the same kind of premise of a guy who doesn't want to travel, who doesn't want to go out of his comfort zone,
Yeah.
being put in that situation. Now, he's not Carl Pilkington. He's not going around, this is fucking bollocks, man. I don't want to be
Yeah.
here.
Just like complaining about the pyramids and shit.
Yeah. It's like, I just don't understand
just
it. It
triangles.
just doesn't make any sense to
Yeah.
me. But here, he's a little bit more affable. You can kind of relate to him, and he's not always like, it's the common things that we would all kind of be iffy about. Like you go to Costa Rica and they're just like, hey, there's a spider. You want to go check it out? No, I don't want to.
Why though?
Do you want to go see this snake? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I don't want to do
Well,
that.
he's a very indoorsy person, right? Which is supposed to be part of the fun of
Yeah.
it, because he's like, I don't want to do these things. I want to be inside in a hot tub. I don't know, like
so
luxuries.
I never saw him, like you could kind of see, the reluctant traveler is probably the appropriate term, because you can just kind of sense at times he's just like, but he's going to do it. He's just hesitant about doing it. He's not Carl.
Yeah.
And if you watch it for any other reason, it's just to see certain aspects of the world that maybe you've never seen, or you get like an in-depth look at certain things. It was just kind of fascinating to me on that level, because again, this is not my kind of show typically, but because it's him, and I just thought, well, I'd give it a watch. If go through one episode, and if you're into it, great. If not, you're not. It's 30 minutes of your time.
I should have pressed play, because he was the biggest reason why I looked into it until I watched the trailer. Then I'm like, well, I don't know.
Like I said, give episode 1 a try, and then choose from there. Because that was kind of the way we went into it. We were just like, let's watch first episode. If we get to the end of it and we're like, yeah, I want to watch another one, cool. If not, then, like I said, you're out 30 minutes. That's about it.
There's no through lines.
Now, you said that was on Apple Plus?
Yes.
I just got Apple Plus just for the Tetris movie, which is worth it, by the
Yeah.
way.
Dude, binge stuff. They've got a lot of good
Yeah.
stuff on there,
I might-
actually. Like, I'm going through it all as best I can.
Yeah, I might keep it. We have like all the freaking streaming services, not to mention Vudu. We've got like 1,000 fucking movies on Vudu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was kind of our hesitation as well, because I also kind of re-upped for Tetris, but I had it before for Ted Lasso and a few other shows.
Yeah, and he's back, so you got to keep it right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely
you
check
can't get
out
rid of it.
Yeah.
Ted Lasso if you have not.
haven't
That is
yet.
such one of those great.
Everyone tells me,
Shows.
it's on the list.
It's just a wholesome, like, I just love
Yeah.
it so much and hilarious. I do.
That's cool.
What it is about, like she said, the wholesomeness. It's an R-rated show,
Yeah.
but
Oh yeah,
it's Ted.
person, everything, but
Everything about him, you just love him so much. He is just so kind-hearted,
Like a genuine
and
guy.
you just
yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
and
Need more of that.
as I watch each episode and I just listen to him, and even the last episode, I just wanted to give the man a hug at the end of the episode. You know what I mean?
oh yeah.
But
awesome.
he's everything you wish you were.
Yeah.
You know,
that's cool.
when you listen to how he approaches things and he just deals with life, I want to be that man.
That
Because it was
positive.
yes,
Yeah. Not always
And
easy.
no, but how he can pull it off, it's just like, God, I wish I could be that guy.
That's awesome.
So anyway, that's all the recommendations and stuff that I wanted to kind of throw out there. So I'm going to pass the question off to Eric. What have you been playing?
Oh man, you put me on the spot. Okay, so
Knew it was coming.
I guess it's kind of a tie-in to the Super Switch Club. I've been playing Banjo-Kazooie on Nintendo 64, and I gotta say, like, as a kid, I freaking hated this game because when you die, you lose everything. Like within the level, it's a collectathon, but like for whatever reason, that was a glitch built into the game, basically. But with the Nintendo Switch, you have save states, so it actually makes it playable. You know, if you die, you just you know, go back. You know, and you know, I actually ended up kind of enjoying it. It was a lot of fun. I know it's not a new game; it's been out since the '90s, but
But still, I mean, it's a lot of fun,
Yeah.
or can be.
Yeah. So that's as far as retro gaming. That's what I've been up to. I'm really looking forward to Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know about that price tag, but yeah, we'll see. You know, I'm gonna get it eventually because you know I even brought a Zelda shirt with me today,
Nice.
representing. You know?
Yeah. No, that's rough with the prices these days, the way it's moving over. And everyone's like, well, if everyone's going to pay it, I may as well too, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's how it feels.
And I want to give a quick shout out to Breath of the Wild. I finished it last year. It took me like 3 years because I was like really enjoying it and taking my time with it. But yeah, that was great. And Ghost of Tsushima, which I haven't finished, but I've been enjoying that quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just kind of casually,
lot of
like just again, like it's all about the exploration. You know, I love that kind of stuff in gaming, so I just like to get immersed, you know, in the world.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Lace, what about you?
Oh, you know. I've been playing more Oxygen Not Included for whatever reason. And I was so stupid that I went and bought the DLC when it was on sale. Like, I've even come close to beating the first part. But I'm like, well, they want $7.
Yeah.
How do I not just throw my money at that, you know? So, yeah. I finally got back up to the surface and everything, but everything still keeps burning up. And I just don't understand what it wants me to do. Like, clearly there's something I could do out here. I've searched the star maps. I've been finding all of these places to go and what's on them. I just don't know how to get to there. So clearly there's an element or something I need to craft that I'm overlooking somewhere that can withstand it. Because you wouldn't just, right? Like, I've got to go to there. You have it built in. So what am I missing? So, but now I think I'm just addicted to starting it over until it gets hard. And then I'm like, well, screw this one. And then I'll start a new one until it gets hard. And I'm like, well, and then I just keep moving on. So it's hilarious. And then I also played Electrician Simulator.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
like, I
that on
love,
Steam?
I tell you what, I need exciting stuff in my life. I could have gotten shocked. You don't know. You don't know. But there's really nothing to say about that. Like, it's literally what it sounds like.
Sounds stressful.
Well, kind of,
Yeah.
because I needed to find where the wire was out or something. So,
Oh,
I mean, this is where it
man.
becomes video game because, like, I can see the wires, if I turn on the thing, But I figured it out, and I put the outlet back together, which is totally lifelike, I'm sure. I'm totally ready to install an outlet in my home, for sure. So, I mean, I'm learning, too.
That's awesome.
I'm learning.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm sure electricians have those fun tools so they could just see the wires glowing behind the wall.
I've been doing.
I mean, tech has come pretty far.
There is a tool for that. I found this out recently because we've been doing a lot of home renovations and stuff, and like electrical work, plumbing. Like I've been learning a lot, just through all this chaos. But there's a tool where you can detect if there's a live wire, like through the wall, like wirelessly.
See?
It's weird. It's like some sci-fi Star Trek tech. It's crazy.
Tech is cool these days.
I couldn't believe that existed. Makes sense, but I just didn't know that was a thing. So
Yeah. I mean, I figured there was some way to maybe detect the wires back there, but active live, I don't know. So see, maybe I am more trained than we thought here.
Perhaps.
I got the little certificate in the game, so here you go.
nice.
Wasn't that like Microsoft Flight Simulator? You could just
Yeah.
log your
Kinda.
hours,
Right.
and then you could.
Yeah. You know what? On some of them, though,
They're
those
so
count.
accurate.
Laugh.
Yeah, it's like basically training.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay.
What about you? Anything more exciting and fun?
A little bit. I have. It sounds like I played a lot, but it's really not a lot in the grand scheme of things. So I finished Chia, which
Oh, yes.
I will say this kind of surprised me. After I had gotten decent way through the story, I had done a lot of exploration, like I kind of mentioned before, where I'd been going from both islands trying to find all the stuff because it's open world, but it's a very small world in which you get to explore. So I felt like I can go here, and just knock out all this stuff right here. But as I was getting to the end of finding everything, I noticed I was like, I'm missing some stuff. Like they have a list of all the collectibles on your map. And I was like, I'm missing about half of this, and where's all this stuff at? So I was confused. Well, you kick off a second part of the story, and it adds new camps that you have to go infiltrate. And I was like, oh, okay. And then you'll find all this extra stuff. And I was like, all right, so that makes sense. Yeah. So it's a little bit longer than I expected, but still maybe about a 18-hour game ballpark. I think that's about how long I played. And that was full completion versus
That's not bad.
a lot of other stuff that you can do or even skip for that matter, because they will allow you to skip certain parts of the game if you don't want to play it. So if you're just in it for the story.
Love it.
I like that because there's a lot of games where like I really just care about the story, more than being like 100%ing the game. So that's cool that's a thing.
And I will say this, the story, which they even kind of, I didn't even mention this when I first brought it up, but they will warn you at the beginning that the story can get a little dark at times. So if you're playing with a kid or if you, something like that, and you want to kind of avoid those, you can turn on the setting and it'll kind of, I guess, temper it down.
Okay.
Because there's some dark shit in this game.
Oh,
Yeah.
For a game that looks very bright and positive, the story gets dark. I mean, dark.
I love that.
Okay.
Spoiler. Okay, if you don't want to know this, but this is integral to the story, and you'll find out if you want to skip ahead about 30 seconds, do it. There was a scene where your main villain ate an infant.
Wow.
That's how fucking dark.
Okay,
it
yeah,
gets.
that's another level of dark. Yeah.
Yeah, like it does this telekinesis power and goes, go.
Dang.
And I was like, oh shit.
Did that just happen? Wow.
Yeah. So, like, that's the kind of dark I'm talking about.
That's
it's very
amazing.
bright. It's a very positive kind of game.
Does seem to-
Has some stakes.
But has dark elements. So just be aware.
Maybe I should look into it more now. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, it's definitely a very interesting game. The gameplay is unique, but reminiscent of stuff like Wind Waker, Breath of the Wild, and other elements like that. So I recommend it. I highly recommend it. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Excellent. And that was PlayStation Plus, right?
Yes.
You got to play it.
Cool.
And so David will be happy that I played the Live a Live.
There you
I think
go.
that's called.
Yeah, it's not Live A Live.
Live a live, live alive, live alive.
Live Alive.
Live Alive.
Live Alive sounds better.
It does.
You
It
know?
does kind of, yeah. I don't know.
He'll correct
English.
us. Yeah, he'll correct us. So I played that demo.
He's just gonna put live a live. Be like, oh, that's what you meant.
But I played the demo that was on the PlayStation. The game doesn't officially come out until the 26th. So, yeah, I can definitely see where I would get into this. I'm excited to play it in full. And on that same topic, since it's the same company, I finally got a release date for the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters, April 19th. I'm so excited.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
It's close.
I've
It's around the corner.
wish listed the two that I want, and they may have a bundle. I don't know, but there were only two that I wanted to play, which are 4 and 6. That's what I'm going to get. That's what I'm going to focus on because I grew up with those games, and I'm so excited to play them. I could give a shit if they were pixel remasters. I just want to play them.
Oh yeah.
Was it the first 6
Dude,
or something?
Story is still fun.
Yeah, the very first 6, they've
Holy
I guess polished them up or whatever, and
Oh, that's awesome.
they're going to be available. So I'm excited, and
Might
as
check
far as I
that
know,
out.
they're going to be. If they're not, I think they're already on Steam, but they will now be on the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation.
That's awesome.
I don't know. I don't think Xbox. I don't want to discourage, but I know that Square.
Why can you not be cross-platform on that, Sony? Why are you keeping it to yourself?
Well, see, they said they're not. It's Square that's not putting it on the Xbox for certain reasons. You know, the reasons they've said in the past. Western audiences don't care about Eastern games and whatnot, or at least that's
I
their.
thought we've disproved that by now.
Right?
They stand by that.
Okay.
Jeez.
Well, then, what do you not notice dollar signs coming out of this area? It's just.
Yeah.
I mean, unless I'm wrong, maybe I am a rarity that plays them in the West. I just thought it's caught on a little bit more by now.
Yeah,
it's a
maybe.
big franchise.
I don't know. And finally, since that was just a demo that I got to play, I finally bit the bullet and started Resident Evil 8 Village.
Oh.
So
Okay.
I'm finally getting into that. I don't know how far. I don't think I'm
Going
very
with the
far
big lady
in the game.
and the
Yeah.
hat.
And that everyone was obsessed over.
Story-wise,
Never seen so many people ask to be stepped on in my life.
I mean, you know, you look at her in the right light, and you be like, yeah, you know.
But what is this
I'm with
step on
Steven.
me? I don't understand.
I don't know.
No,
I'm not
I
saying
don't.
she's not hot
mean,
or
it's-
anything, but I don't understand why you'd want someone to step on you. Maybe I'm too old now and I don't understand.
No comment.
Maybe am I just like, you'll tell me later, Lace. This is what it means. I hope everyone's laughing.
We'll
but
talk about it
I
in the
don't know.
Discord.
There we go.
There you go. See, lure people in.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, check out
I'll
the
learn something new
Pencil and
by
Paper
the end of the day.
Podcast Network on Discord. It's a
Yeah,
fun
there
time.
we got links in the show notes. We tell you every week. So join us, and you can join into this
discussion.
wonderful conversation about women stepping on
I
your.
can't believe you didn't know this. This is what I'm going to hear now.
Speaking of
Because
which,
people got to catch all the things.
no, I'm gonna bring this up real quick because I'm trying. Okay, I'm really trying, and I'm sure you guys have encountered this. And so I had a cousin, because we all have family members like this, who wanted to go on a. They're going to take our guns rant
Oh God.
on
Yeah,
Instagram. And, you know, I love my cousin very much. She's like, you know, sister cousin, if you will. And so I reached out and I was like, hey, and I was trying to be as diplomatic as I could, middle ground. I was like, you know, here's what needs to happen. Here's some ideas that could possibly, you know, we need to work together. We need unity. You know,
Right.
we have these discussions. And then she kind of pointed out, was, well, here's my concerns and whatnot. I was like, that's all well and good. You're pointing out things that you're concerned about. That's why we have to have conversations so we can
Right.
get to the root of it
Yeah.
and pass a law for gun control that suits everybody.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's why we have discussions. That's what we need to have.
Compromise.
Obviously, being on the internet, it lures in the right people. So you get the one who's just like, asshat is trying to take our guns.
Oh God.
And I
They've been saying this for 40 years.
Maybe
Jesus
we should
H.
just fucking take them at this point. I'm sorry.
Right, at this point, we've been
No.
accused of it for so long. Well, I say we, like I've had any
Right,
control over these
me
laws.
neither.
But
but I tried again to maintain some diplomacy and just stay down the middle. I was like, hey, but understand conversations, name calling, and all this stuff doesn't matter. I personally haven't heard for a ban for all guns. I did admit, yes, I've heard for assault rifles and whatnot, so I get that. But it's not an all gun situation. No. So therefore, your fact is a little misconstrued. Mm-hmm. And again, we need to have conversations, not name calling. So why don't we do that? Response: ass had guns. And I was like, okay, falling on deaf ears.
I don't even try on the internet with people anymore because I don't think they're having the conversation to learn. They just want to tell us, and then when you're like, but what about this? And they'll be like, but then what about that? And then it's like, well, now we've lost sight of what we were talking about.
Right. So. It's funny because sometimes I understand where Steven's coming from because you try to reach out, but they're not willing to do the same is the problem. So then you're wasting all your mental energy and
Yeah.
Now, if you two were talking in person, I think you would have had a much different response.
Well, I don't know.
You would have had more opportunity to look each other in the face, see another human being there with different empathies, and be able to have the conversation as opposed to, being a keyboard warrior behind a screen. You know, it's just, I feel more conversation can be productive that way.
And trust me, it took every ounce of my being not to be an asshole in this situation because immediately you want to go on the defensive. Right. And it was like, no. We're not going to do that. I'm going to try and be, middle ground.
To live with kindness.
And try my best because that's how I've been trying to approach these conversations now. Because I feel like if we're going to ever get back to that unified point of view, we have to have discussions. We have to not do what they do, which is throw names and be like, you're ignorant orange president.
Do this XYZ. Insert group here that all of us are the same. Yeah.
So it was just a futile effort. I don't know if I got to my cousin because she just kind of chimed out at some point, but it was just...
have that conversation with her in person. I think you'd get a much different response.
Yeah. And again, she wasn't super defensive about it, but... she made her point, and then I rebutted, and so it was like, hey, well, that again, conversations. That's why we need to talk about it. Anyway, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. We're going to be here all day. So, Lace, what do you got in the way of news?
Well, we got a few things here. Did you watch any gameplay of this Rockay City? I don't know. I was going to say Detroit Become Human because I think I watched that Leslie Nielsen clip again this morning for funsies. So it was the one that had all of the celebrities in it. It had Michael Rooker and Chuck Norris and Basinger, Kim Basinger, on and on and on and on. So it came out on the 28th, I think, of March. Kind of skipped past me, but just because it came out on Epic, which that doesn't land in my eyesight when it comes out exclusively on there. So it's exclusive on PC to Epic till June 24, whatever. It kind of looks like Payday.
Oh, okay.
But the missions seem insanely short. I was watching someone play it and they would be actively in there shooting whatever the mission was to clear it out. And they're still looking at one enemy getting ready to shoot them. And then the screen goes gray like they just finished the mission. I'm like, but they're still doing stuff. Why would you end it there? So I don't know, guys. I don't know. I was just curious if you had watched it because all of the hype that it was getting honestly, I think just the names is what's going to carry it because my God. The amount of people that, names that were in it. But, and I like Payday. But, I don't know. It just felt like something was missing from it. The more I watched it. It just felt super short. Something was missing. Not sure. There might be some loose overarching story or whatever. So, I don't know. Maybe watch a little bit more of it and see. Because I was keeping my eye on it just probably like anyone else was. Why are all these people in this game? Who's got that kind of cash,
that could be a desperate ploy on their part though, marketing wise, that's true. That could be a red flag that they're like, oh, we need to get all these people involved.
So many people. Yeah, I don't know. Like the whole thing seemed kind of fun and lighthearted, with just a little bit of humor going in there. So the gameplay felt very Payday. You go in for your mission, dumping things in the back of the truck, if you're stealing jewels or whatever your mission was for that one. So, which I loved that game. I guess I was just maybe a little more variation in it. I don't know. Have you played it, siblings? Let me know. Maybe I just watched someone only play a certain chunk of it and it skewed my perception of what the entire game would be. But I don't know. Just wanted to see if you had.
I'd actually forgotten about that until you mentioned the people who were in it. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I do remember that trailer.
Where it was just name after name. Vanilla Ice. I did get to see a scene with Vanilla Ice in it, though. So it was kind of funny. He was, one of the hard-ass people you go get a mission from or whatever. So, yeah, I didn't know he was an actor. And every time I see him now, I just have to think of the turtle rap, and it's so bad.
He should have embraced kind of like The Rock has done. What was his name? Travis Van Winkle or some shit.
I don't know. He went hardcore rock for a little bit and then I don't know. And then here he is again.
I just think he should go by Vanilla Van Winkle is all. Anyway, continue.
Do it. I hope he listens. We're filling so many ideas.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, totally.
Turtle Rap 2. Anyway.
Go Ninja, go Ninja.
Yeah,
go.
Ninja Rap.
I can't not sing it. I can't. Anyway, handheld news. We got some stuff coming up. I think this showcase for Sony is going to end up being pretty freaking cool. I know I've been saying that almost every pod so far, but it seems like every week there's just a little bit something new getting leaked out. Rumors still, but possible. Insider Gaming reported that Sony's developing a new handheld right now, codenamed Q Lite, but to go with the PS5 specifically. So more of a remote streaming controller type situation. You do need the PS5 for this to work. It connects via the remote play on PS5. So I'm guessing with all of these different two-player games that you've seen too, that it might be more, what was the name of that one game where you played the Ghost on your mobile device? And then as you were playing the game, it was on PS3 too. Elliot Page is in it. And you would think I'd remember this because it's from the people Beyond Two Souls. Thank you. There we go. So I'm imagining games like that because I've seen that happening more recently where the second player could assist in this kind of way where you're not actually a split screen side by side actively. That's what I'm envisioning right now. Because they were reportedly saying the device looks almost like the PS5 controller, but a much larger screen in the center. So I feel like also a battery drain. We'll see. I just, because it says that it's also going to have the adaptive triggers, the haptic feedback, volume button speakers, audio jack. So I'm like, yeah, I wonder how much battery life this will have because they're already kind of rough, depending on how long you play. So I just wanted to hear your thoughts. What do you think we could use something like this for? I know you and Katrina like to play a lot of games together. Does that sound like something
if we
interesting at all?
With us having two consoles, we just split up between the rooms unless we actually have to play in the same room. So it's not that big a deal. Now, for those, if they're going to do it like that, then the cost needs to be significantly lower.
It's going to be $6.99. No,
see, but in all honesty, that would be a cheaper option for co-op if you're wanting to do that. So for those who can't get a second piece or PlayStation,
that's a good point.
Or just looking for another alternative, this could be good, but it depends on the price point. Because if you're going to save $3.99, $4.99, then what's the point? You might as well just go get you another PlayStation.
Yeah. Oh, true. Yeah.
That's a good point.
I don't know. What do you think, Eric?
No, I agree. I agree with Steven. It's hard to say, but it could be a good co-op option depending on the price. Again,
Yeah, definitely that price.
Yeah.
But it is saying you'll get an 8-inch LCD touchscreen, 1080p, 60 frames per second. So all of this. It does say, though, that it will need to be online all the time. So that's another caveat to it. So maybe it'll get patched out later like they've done with other things. But
I don't understand the obsession with that. Like, what are companies thinking? Because like, there's some people that can't do that. There's military, there's people, the troops, they can't always connect online, like a lot of them want a game when they're off time, things like that, so it's like,
yeah. And until it's a utility, I don't know that you should really keep hawking things that are going to be 100% online, because we've still got a good chunk in the middle of the states that can only get 16 megabits,
I mean, like, I live in a rural area. My internet kind of sucks. Luckily, they're upgrading it soon, but, stuff happens. And,
yeah. One day, maybe in like 5 or so years, we'll finally convince them that we've moved into the day and age of it needing to be a utility. And then, because you kind of need it, at this point.
Yeah. So,
hello, 2020? What'd we see?
Do we not think that it would have been, I guess not economical, but just maybe a smarter move, considering you have a Nintendo Switch that is this, mobile console that's back and forth, and then you have the Steam Deck, which allows your PC gaming on the go for them to do something in that same vein between the two, maybe that could,
you plug it into the whatever things,
download all your PlayStation 5 games, take it on the go. I don't know. I feel like that should have been the approach here.
And again, maybe we will hear that being the case in the showcase too, because a lot of this is still kind of like leaks and rumors. So I do believe they're probably working on something, because it seems like every week I'm hearing a new thing that hardware wise that PlayStation is working on. So it could, I don't know. I'm kind of getting excited for this showcase. So I hope it lives up to the hype of all of the things that I've been seeing. We'll find out later this year. We'll find out.
You mentioned the battery life though, and I couldn't help but think of like, that's kind of what doomed the Game Gear. I mean, obviously it's probably not actual batteries. It's probably like you charge it, but like still like, yeah.
I'm imagining 2-3 hours maybe.
Oh yeah, it's not enough.
Because my deck can go about 6, depending on how intensive the game that I'm playing. If I'm playing a super intense game, that drops considerably, maybe 4 or 5 hours, so that's why I was looking at this with it having all of that, and the deck does not have, it doesn't vibrate. I mean, I could turn it on. I like to have all those, but it doesn't have like those trigger haptic things that the PlayStation 1 has and all that. I don't know, we'll see, but I just feel the battery life might be a little rough with all of the stuff that it's saying it's coming with, unless we've made some huge strides in batteries that Sony's not letting us all know about, which would be amazing. We could use it in so many things. But more handheld news. Just thought it would be interesting here. Have you seen ROG's Ally that's been talked about this week? Get some competition for the Steam Deck. I guess people went in on that handheld market. So we've seen some other indie handhelds coming around, but nothing that's really kind of taken hold. So ROG's Ally, I actually was looking at the specs. This might be the closest one to kind of compete with the deck so far. And honestly, some specs might even be a little bit better. But the price is a little bit more competitive, but about the same from what I was reading. There's no confirmed real price point yet. I saw rumored $400, could be up to $650. That's about the same as the deck, depending on which model you get, how much space you want, hard drive space, basically. Sure. So that seems about the same. Definitely a much different look. So I think if you were more of an Xbox gamer growing up, this might feel more comfortable to you because it has the offset joysticks. I personally like them to be on the same parallel for me, but you might be the type who likes it off that way. I don't know. I don't know how you guys do it, but controller people amaze me anyway. So it also has its own custom APU with SMD's Zen 4 CPU architecture and RDNA 3 graphics, which is the latest gen AMD. Stack also has AMD, but it has 4 cores of the Zen 2. And then RDNA 2 by comparison. So a little slightly older tech. Well, as soon as you take it home, it's too old, right? But
sure.
Biggest point, though, is the operating systems, which will be, this is going to just boil down to personal preference. ROG Ally, Windows 11 all day. Deck is on Linux. So this is just personal preference. I don't know, looking at the specs, how much faster the ROG, I keep wanting to say ROG, but the ROG Ally will be with 11 taking up its resources, whereas Linux doesn't need hardly any resources to run on it. So that is just going to boil down to what you want, I think. I don't know. What do you think? If you're an Xboxer, you might like it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it might be the alternative for Xbox gamers to have a handheld if they don't want to go to Steam, because it does look like it would kind of be in their wheelhouse. But
yeah,
I mean, if they're not doing anything to make it less accessible, I mean, as far as Steam goes, because if you got one or the other, I might be more, not to say that I got anything wrong with Republic of Gamers. I mean, hell, that's what my laptop is.
Right.
But
yeah, my motherboard.
yeah, so I mean, Steam just has a brand that and immediately think games, versus ROG is just more computers, and it might be less, known to more casual people. So they might be like, I don't know what that is. Is this a knockoff brand, but yet they're still charging equal price? So I think it could be a good competitor, but again, it's having to come over the name problem.
Yeah, I haven't heard of it before, so I would be a little skeptical if I saw this on the shelf,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when they were looking at possibly throwing it out there. I mean, I'm always down for competition. That just means us as consumers get cooler stuff. Yeah. So I think it's just going to boil down to personal preference. So if you were looking for a handheld and you were like, dang, I really wish I could play my Game Pass games on it, but
that's a good point.
And Steam would make that a little bit more difficult. I mean, you can download Windows for Steam too if you want. So I think it'll just be preference. Do you want Windows taking up some processes, or do you want to use Linux, which could be a little bit more of a learning curve? Right. So there's,
that's a good point.
I could see the appeal for Windows. It's easy. It's what we've probably all really grown up with, unless you were a super PC nerd.
Yeah.
Right.
Not knocking them. I'm just saying. We love those PC nerds. That's why we got all this cool stuff. Resident Evil 4 news, yo. Did you play the DLC? You got your Mercenaries DLC, which was a free download that dropped this last week. I don't know if you bought the game. I wasn't sure if you were in it or not. I know we played the demo, but how excited we were.
I've got too many games to play.
Fair.
I'll get around to it, and I'm not gonna, unless I'm playing it right now, I'm not gonna pay for it.
How many times have they re-released Resident Evil 4 at this point?
A lot.
I don't know. Skyrim might still have a beat, though, but yes.
GameCube's where it started. Then it went to PlayStation, Wii.
It was on the Wii.
Has it ever been to X? It's got to be on
I'm
Xbox.
pretty sure it was on the Wii U at one point, but I could be wrong. Maybe not.
I don't know.
But
I played it on the original Wii.
Yeah.
Oddly enough.
It could have wound up on the Wii U. It wouldn't surprise me if it did. PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4.
That's a lot.
I'm sure Xbox 360, Xbox One now.
And
so
now
enough.
PC. We're going on and on.
Yeah, I'm sure enough.
Yeah. Well, it was a good thing the Mercenaries DLC was free, because they're adding microtransactions, or should say they already did for your single player game there. Yeah. So you can upgrade weapons more quickly. Why though? I don't know. So it's upgrade tickets that you can purchase, $3 each, or you could do a multi-pack for $7 to $10, depending on what you want. And then I quote, with this, you'll have access to a weapons exclusive upgrade at any time, regardless of weapons level. Not only that, but once unlocked, the upgrade itself is free of charge.
Now, first of all, that made no sense. Secondly,
I was going to say, you made the same face I did, right? Like, what?
So didn't they do this with 8 as well? Because as I was playing it, I saw this ticket, $5, and said, this is your free access ticket to weapons or whatever. And I thought, for what exactly? Yeah. So if I paid $5, what am I getting specifically? And it sounded like, oh, you'll unlock a bunch of stuff after you're done playing the game. And I was like, so this benefits me in no way whatsoever now.
What?
So
wait.
Yeah, it's gonna nickel and dime us to death, as always.
Capcom, what is going on?
Yeah, they used to be really good about not doing this, and now it makes me concerned if we do Monster Hunter again. and they're just like, hey, guess what? We're going to do a bigger, better Monster Hunter, but you're going to have to pay for everything.
Jesus.
New missions, new armor, new recipes.
I don't know. Okay. Am I missing something? Is it multiplayer in any way?
Just I think the mercenary bit you can play. Maybe, I don't know.
I can't understand why you would microtransact a single player experience.
Money.
You know?
Money.
Yeah, capitalism is the reason.
Maybe, well, sure.
Unfortunately.
But I guess as the consumer, I'm not understanding. I thought the point was playing it, having fun, leveling up.
But if
learning.
you can pay to go ahead and be a god, then you can just go in and go kapow, 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 and then you don't have to worry about working.
I thought your $70 was putting you in that seat.
I don't want to work for anything. I want the fast, easy track to get the best things ever so I can play it my way.
Well, you know what? If that's what you want to throw your money at, the power of freedom, right? You do you. I just don't. I thought the whole point was playing the game. Maybe I'm losing sight of what gamers like these days. I don't know. Yeah, so 23 tickets are available now for your purchase if you would like. Cost you about $55 in total if you want all of the tickets and that kind of stuff. So I don't know. On it goes. On and on it goes. It's optional though, but
that's another thing that I found out that kind of pissed me off a little bit about Resident Evil 8. And again, I've only played just a little bit of it, but I remembered, was it a few weeks back, they were like all these new updates coming into the game, like VR mode. And I was like, cool. That was a free thing that you could just download. And I thought, cool, I haven't done that. But there was another bit that I remember they said they were going to add a third person mode. Well, guess what?
Okay.
That's locked behind a paywall. Yeah.
I hate everything.
You have to buy
that.
the $20 expansion with the DLC and everything. Then you can get third person mode. And I thought, but it's a mode. It's a gameplay mode. Why are you locking this behind a paywall? Maybe I don't want the DLC.
Dude.
Right.
I don't understand life anymore.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, you're right. When we're talking about capitalism, how much further can you constantly keep beating last year's numbers?
Yeah.
Like, I think we're seeing the huge fallout from this. Like, how much more can you do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, eventually it's just,
Yep.
like we were saying earlier, you win.
Yeah,
Here's your
yeah.
trophy. Let's move
needs
on.
to be a
You
limit,
win.
a cutoff point.
You won capitalism.
Exactly.
Here's your trophy.
Totally agree.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Dude, have you seen this Monster Energy drink thing going on?
Probably.
Oh, okay. So I guess I didn't realize how much of a trademark troll that Monster Energy is.
Apparently.
So they're trying to push an indie studio to change the name of their game. The game now is titled Dark Deception, Monsters and Mortals. So I'm sure there was just a bunch of gamers confused in 7-Elevens looking for their monster with a pink label that just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
We were very confused and ignorant individuals when we saw this game that came out in 2020, mind you.
Wow.
So we've been wandering for 3 years confused. We couldn't find Monster Energy to save our life because it was a pink logo, damn it.
Ugh.
And it had more words. Where's my Dark Deception Monster Energy drink?
I mean, I know that I'm usually looking for this stuff either in a video game store or a 7-Eleven.
Always.
It's interchangeable. I don't want to be this confused.
Right, Or I went to the 7-Eleven looking for my game. It's too close, you guys. I'm just telling you. So it was an indie studio. The game released in 2020. It wasn't even that large of a game, and I'm not trying to knock it, but I'm just saying, like, it wasn't like tens of millions of people, we're just like coming along playing the game. I hope sales are going well now, though, by the way. But as I came to realize reading through the news, this is a Monster Energy drink thing to do, which I find kind of hilarious that they're trying to ingratiate in with gamers and then doing stuff like this. So we must just be blind to this whole thing here. But this is where it got Vincent Livings, who's part of the indie team, laid it out pretty good in a really long tweet thread. And the only reason why I want to read some of it is because it got ridiculous on some of the things that Monster does. And Pretty much they think they own the word monster. I'm not joking with you. So let me see. I got to blow this back up so I can read it because my old lady eyes. But
it's like Universal Studios would like a word with you, you know?
Right?
It's a English word.
Yeah.
You don't own a. I don't
just
even
saying,
know
like,
how this is happening.
It's so
I just
generic.
don't.
Yeah, it's a generic term.
Why are they not going after Pixar? They made 2 movies with the word monster.
This has been a lot of the snipping back and forth. It's like, oh, what about Monster Hunter? I used monster in a paper I wrote in 12th grade. Am I in trouble?
Yeah.
Like, it's just you're not going after. Oh, they tried to go after Nintendo. Oh my god. For Pocket Monsters.
What the?
They came up before Monster
Pokemon,
Energy.
yeah.
Okay.
You think they won? No. Nintendo's like, oh, you want to play? Oh, you wanted to play?
He's got some lawyers.
Oh, yeah. And they will not back down.
Fuck around.
Do we know who the CEO of Monster Energy Drink is? Because I'm just imagining this dude, bro, who just wants
It's Kyle.
to just get pissy about everything.
Uh-huh.
It's like, dude, they're using Monster. That is our thing. Dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just sue them right now, dude.
Oh, but they want to make sure no monster or variants thereof, including but not limited to monster, monstrous, monstrosity, in connection with any goods or services, shall not seek to register any trademark, including the words beast or unleash or any variants thereof, either alone or in combination with each other in other words, in connection with any goods or services. You cannot use a claw or claw-like design, claw-like markings, or any design confusingly similar to MEC's claw icon, including not limited to multiple lines, substantial parallel lines, in connection with... I just have to because it's so ridiculous.
Wolverine.
This cannot be allowed.
Like, Freddy.
There's no
Like-
way Yes!
Like there's so many things
Yes!
that would be.
You're not allowed to use their font. According to this, any mark, stylization, trait, or dress that is confusingly similar to Monster Energy's font. You are not allowed to use their color themes. The yellow against green against black.
Are you serious?
This is in here. Or any color. Okay, applicant shall not display, use, or seek to register any variants thereof in connection with the blah, 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 sale, this, that, or the other. In the colors green or white, in whole or in part, regardless of the background behind the marks, or in any color against a background that is principally black or principally green, or uses the color combinations of green and black or green and black and white. They own colors.
No.
That's the perfect response. Just no. I can't.
No.
I just like my brain is, and you know, other people have done this kind of stuff.
for
We've seen trademark
sure.
trolls in the past, but like to me, the audacity. If this is legal, someone needs to let me know. I need to have a chat with Emily D. Baker.
Yeah.
I don't know her personally, but I love her. She's a law nerd on YouTube. Go watch her. I think she's great. But I need to I can't imagine this being legal, right? Like,
Can't be. I mean, to a point, sure. The font, I get.
Yeah,
Okay,
the font
store
is the one
trademark
thing.
font.
Yeah.
Right.
I could see that.
Color schemes. Now, if you're talking about a combination of these things where you're using the font, but then maybe you've changed up the colors or whatever, you're still using the font. But if I created a word or a piece of art that said monster and the most elegant looking font you've ever seen, but it still had the color schemes, but it looked nothing like their logo, you can't touch me.
Right.
Tell me where you owned that font and these colors.
well, apparently in their cease and desist letter that they're sending.
absurd.
Yeah, so basically they were like, you can keep it as long as every time you talk about the game, you have to say Dark Deceptions, Monsters, and Mortals. You're not allowed to call it. It has to be the full name. Like, people wouldn't have been calling it that in the first place.
Exactly. Who was just going to sit there and say, I'm playing this monster game?
Right.
What game are you talking about?
That's, yeah.
I just to this whole thing. So it's a smaller team, obviously, that's going through it. That's not going to have the myriad of lawyers and all of this backing.
That bums
So
me out.
more often than not, they'll just settle or something because who's got the money for that? So you're just a trademark bully troll, Monster Energy.
Yeah.
I never drank your stuff in the first place, and now I'm kind of
Definitely
glad.
not. Yeah.
I'm not one to call for boycotts, but what the hell, man? This is a small team. And then if you guys want just for funsies, you should go through there and just see all of the different trademark dings that they've done with people in the past. Like with any of those, Unleash the Beast, just
Beast
all
Wars,
sorts of
Transformers.
variations of it. It's ridiculous.
Maybe if they weren't like trying to sue everyone, they might have some cool crossover opportunities here, Like that's the thing that really like baffles me,
Well, apparently it made an appearance in Death Stranding, I guess, the can or something. And so I saw a lot of people tagging Hideo Kojima going like, oh, so this is cool?
Man.
Can we just take it out of the thing? Because they clearly don't like their name being used in video games.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, why not?
I don't know. These poor people. So they do have a GoFundMe.
That's
if
good.
you want to help them out because Jesus
I'll share
Christ
that.
with the law, their lawyers and stuff that they're probably trying to do. Yeah. So go buy it, guys. Go to Steam. Go buy Monsters and Mortals. Oh God, I'm gonna get sued.
I'm so confused. I don't know what game you're talking about because all I can think of is Monster Energy drink when you said that.
It's all I know.
If it was an energy drink that they were trying to put out that had a monster theme, I could see a case being like relevant there, but none of this makes any sense.
No.
No, you should go look at the even the cover art for the game.
Oh, I definitely will.
No, it's pink.
Yeah.
It has a bunch of other different kinds of monsters back there. I don't know. Anywho, do what you do. Do what you do, internet. I did have to go to the Monster Twitter page. I'm like, oh, there's gotta be. And oh yeah. So I'm like, this is fine. I know the guy running Monster Energy Twitter has no clue and it's probably like, what's going on? I just try to make things funny online for the brand. What's happening? So yeah, go support. Screw you, Monster Energy drink. Jesus Christ. I hate trademark trolls. Like take two even. Like go fly a kite.
Right.
And Rockstar, they love to just trademark troll people. But I did think it was hilarious. They wanted to go after Nintendo, and I was reading that, and I'm like, oh, how'd that go?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck.
I mean, Monster Hunter, did you try to get them? I'm curious.
You said the word beast was another one of those things?
Yeah. And any variation.
Mr.
So
Beast.
even if I said monster
Oh,
with an
yeah.
A.
That's a good point.
Why not? Mr. Beast. I mean, he's a prominent figure using the word, and that's a variant. Mr. Beast.
We're all confused.
Yep.
It's like, I didn't know Monster Energy drink could make the blind see.
It's just amazing.
It'll turn you blind.
It's all the confusion. Yeah, there's
shit's
with all their
toxic.
twaring. I don't know. Also, I think you should just go sue Webster's Dictionary too, because I think monster was in there. I think it is. Yeah. Sorry, now I'm just being a smart ass. But yeah, it just drives me crazy to go after a small indie team that's probably making enough to keep working on the game. And then you think anyone's confused. Like, you guys, come the F on.
Yeah.
So,
Dude, bro,
that's that.
is confused because he sees the word monster, the thing that he owns, on other things, and it's just his brain can't handle it.
I really want some of the bigger ones to
He's
bully
going
him
after
back.
Mary
That's
Shelley
got the
next.
money to do it. Like, I really badly, for some reason, want like Nintendo to go after them for using it because they use the term pocket monster. I want someone big to go after them and cost them ridiculous amounts of money just for me to sit back and watch and go, oh, it's great, isn't it? Was that fun?
Yeah.
You were.
I got my
They came
popcorn
around,
ready.
what, like 2006?
Yeah.
Something like that? Yeah. Anyway, whatever.
Garbage.
So, garbage. Leave them alone. Yeah. Okay, so I've only got a couple of other quick hits because I figured we'd probably want plenty of time at the end. So I didn't like fill us too terribly much. But one little quick hit. God of War Ragnarok was updated to include New Game Plus. So if you were looking forward to that, congrats. Go ahead with the tomfoolery being harder if you like. But all your weapons and skills will transfer over for more enchantments and everything. So you can start off as your badass, and then continue on the game with it being ridiculously harder than I guess it was the first time. And this I just thought was hilarious. Did you know that they had a game and that was actually put out? Hold on, let me bring this up here so I can make sure I've got the right one here. But a game about murdering Sonic, and it was actually from Sega. No. But it was a virtual novel. We'll back it up a little bit there. But it's free on Steam, and apparently, and looking at the reviews, people are freaking in love with it. So apparently it's actually a really good story. It's fun to go through. I guess we needed to kill Sonic a long time ago. I don't know. It looked like it was doing really well. So over 1 million people have already played it. Okay. So just thought I'd throw that out. If you wanted some free virtual novel, I guess trying to solve the mystery of who killed Sonic or whatever, there you go. Weird. Maybe that'll kill an afternoon for you. I just thought it was hilarious that it came out from them too, where I was like, really? Okay.
Huh. Okay.
And then last little quickie I had, just because I always hate when I see physical game sales going away, but Electronic Arts pulled no longer physical games being sold in South Africa. Done. No more. And I just, from a game preservation standpoint, it always breaks my heart a little bit when I see that happening. Yeah. I do realize we're in a day and age where way more people probably download their games and purchase things digitally, especially the next generation coming up who has always had online for everything. It makes sense. But it just made me sad because I feel like that's a pretty decently sized market too. But with all the layoffs and stuff we're seeing from everywhere, it's kind of not that shocking, I guess, because it's cheaper to make a digital copy than a physical game. So made me sad. But that's it. Okay. What you think?
I have nothing to add to that. That's
I did good.
Yeah, you did great.
I did good.
Did fantastic. I don't really know of any other gaming news that I wanted to bring up, although Eric,
yes,
I have to ask because I mean, Lace, I know you. I don't know what your stance is. You don't seem like you're into Star Wars. But we had all these Star Wars announcements yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, you guys did. Please nerd out. Okay, there was a lot. I did see it.
Yeah, there's a lot.
We just had to take this moment. I'm sorry, but first, I mean, Ahsoka is the first thing I saw, and I was like, finally, we're getting a trailer. And it was everything. I saw little snippets of every little thing that I wanted to see, and I was like, all right, we're getting returning characters. We're getting, the return of Thrawn.
Yes. It looks great.
I saw Ezra in the trailer. They didn't seem to mention him, but there was like some little hologram.
I hope that's all we get of Ezra, honestly.
Really? So I don't know.
Are we talking the actor Ezra Miller, or is it a character in the show?
Yeah, no.
There was a character in the show Star Wars Rebels.
Like they actually cast him in that.
Yeah.
That would be weird. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
That would be...
No, it's fine. But I was excited to see Chopper because I'd forgotten about him.
I got excited about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So excited about that. We didn't get to see anything from the Alkalite or Skeleton Crew, which I was a little disappointed in. But then we got a new Indiana Jones trailer, which was nice. And then what was the other one? The big news where Daisy Ridley's coming back as Rey. So I was really surprised by that, to be honest, because I thought she was kind of done with it, like everybody else after the last three, because you get hounded and called it what, Mary Sue. What they kept calling her.
Yeah, like the internet was brutal with her. And I don't think, you can complain about those movies all you want. She was not the problem at all.
No.
She was giving it her all. And I'm actually really glad to hear she's getting to come back. And hopefully we'll get better movies with her,
I'm hoping to see John Boyega come back as well, because his arc also needs a correction.
And the sad thing is we got less and less of him as the trilogy went on, and that just wasn't right, I think, So I agree, totally. Yeah. I would love to see both of them back.
And then James Mangold doing a Star Wars movie.
Yes.
I'm so excited for Indiana Jones as it is, so that's another thing that he's doing that I'm excited for.
He's getting to play in that sandbox. That's amazing, and what the concept for it really sounds awesome, because they're going way back. They're going back to the beginning Like a longer time ago in a galaxy
Yeah.
far, far away, you know, like Dawn of the Jedi. Like, what is that like? You know, I'm so curious to see what he ends up doing with that, you know?
I mean, it's so far removed from everything that we've seen. He has freedom.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I think that's what a lot of these filmmakers are looking for is freedom to just do something completely new.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're not 20 years removed or 30 years removed from what we already know, you still kind of have to have some essence of it. It's like, well, there's little droids still running around and there's little characters who may or may not be alive. But if you're saying thousands of years, because it's got to be.
Yeah.
Then what is that?
Not even Yoda was around then. So, yeah it should be cool.
So I'm excited. There were, I don't remember what else there was.
There was a crossover movie announced by Dave Filoni.
Yes. Filoni.
So a Mandalorian movie, I guess? Is that what it sounds like? I don't know.
That's how they're kind of positing it to the public. Be like, it's a Mando crossover experience. And it's like, yeah, but is it a Mandalorian movie? Because I don't think people are going to go to the theaters to see that.
Well, I'm kind of curious to see how that plays out. Because is it supposed to be a finale to the series? That would be interesting.
That was kind of what I was getting vibes from. Like, you're going to culminate all this stuff together into one movie. And then all these characters from all these other shows that are intertwined are going to
appear in it.
Endgame it, if you will.
Yeah.
And then there you go. So, I don't know. I'm curious. I saw all that stuff and I was excited to talk to someone about that. And I do want to ask real quick, because I do want to get into our big topic of today.
Of course.
What are your thoughts on Picard right now?
I'm really digging it. You know,
Same.
There's a couple things I'm a little weirded out about, but like compared to the first two seasons, which I definitely had my complaints about, season 3 is really sticking the landing for me in a big way, especially as an old school TNG fan growing up. Like, it hits all those right notes to see all these characters all these years later. And I'm glad that they're not the same, you know, because time has passed. They've had lives in between the last time we've seen them. But the most amazing thing about it is Nemesis was such a terrible ending for that crew. And this feels like justice. You know, it's like we finally get the epilogue we've always deserved for these characters. So I'm really digging it. They still have 2 episodes, so they could still fuck it up. But so far,
that's true. No, it was nice in just this last episode getting to see everybody together again, and it was just. Because even just in snippets, you're just kind of wanting to see all the characters together just one more time.
Yes, that's
and then
all
we finally got that one shot, and they're all in the room together. It was like, it's finally.
That was amazing.
And they continue to end every episode with me wanting more.
Yeah.
And it just aggravates me to no end because I'm just like, why do you have to end it here? Just I want another episode right now.
Yeah. Well, and that's the mark of a good show, though.
Once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I understand. I'm glad that they're doing that because they're tempering my, just slowing me down so I don't binge through it. But
well, and we can discuss it
so
between the
engaged.
episodes. You know,
right?
Well,
like what the hell's going on with Jack?
Spoiled for you.
Yeah,
sure. No, I've been definitely more engaged with this season and just all the little callbacks, Easter eggs, characters. I mean, like you said, it's been solid through and through. So I'm so excited that they did this.
Agreed.
But we're not talking about that today. We are talking about Super Mario Brothers movie, which we've all seen. Yay!
Yes!
Lace came through. Thank you. So, little business up top. Talking about the box office gross because movie grosses here lately have been a little
lukewarm.
Because
we've kind of entered in a weird era of movie releases. So
we
I don't
have
know how you tabulate it as well anymore.
And I do want to talk about that while we've got time because we have time today.
We do.
But so first things first, I think it was projected to be about $87 million, maybe 128 for the full 5-day total because it released on Wednesday. Believe it or not, it actually came out a day early, and that was the projections for the movie bringing in. Well, it seems that it's going to hit the $200 million mark for its 5-day. So it definitely raking in the money. No doubt we're going to be getting a sequel, despite any end credit scenes or what have you. But
I didn't stay for the end credit scene, so I guess I'll have to check that out. I despise that practice in movies to my core. I despise it. Put it at the end of your movie. Sure. Don't make me sit there through your credits to watch more. I already paid the money. I've sat here for 3 hours. Put it at the end of your movie.
But don't you want to appreciate the people who made this movie for you?
I appreciate you. I don't know who you are. I'm not reading any of it. Okay. The people who are listed there are not staying for other movie credits either. I'm just saying.
Fair enough.
I despise it. Give it at the end of your movie so I see it. Thank you.
Anyway.
But it does mean I can get out of the theater quicker. So
this is true. I mean, everybody else is going to be sitting
stays.
There. And I'm just like... Has it not become common practice where you see people not get up? It's almost like we're conditioned to sit there now.
Thanks
just to wait.
You, Marvel. You started this.
They did.
They did.
So that is where Super Mario Brothers seems to be. It's raked in all the money. But the question is, what do we think? Initial thoughts. That's what I want to hear, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of it. So, Eric, start off. What were your initial thoughts of the movie?
I freaking loved this movie. I thought it was great. I thought it was, the best version of what it was, a Super Mario movie, And I don't know if we want to get into the 90s one, but to me, they got it right this time,
Yeah. We'll get into the 90s one, I'm sure.
We can talk about it. We can debate about that, but
Yeah.
Lace, what were your initial impressions of the film?
I thought it was fine. I'm not going to say that I thought it was great. I thought it was fun for the time that I sat there. I enjoyed the pace that it went at. I never felt, for an hour and a half. Thank you. You just kept it moving and kept going along. So, I mean, for the time that I sat there, I enjoyed myself. But I don't know that I would, go out of my way to see it again. But it was fine for me. I don't know.
I'm kind of in between the both of you. I really enjoyed myself, but I found myself in my head going, they needed to do something just a little bit more here, or I wish they would have done something a little bit more there. But I didn't want to complain about it either, because it was like, but at the end of the day, I'm kind of breaking down why you wouldn't have done this, wouldn't have done that. So I kind of found myself in this weird thing where I was enjoying it, but I also had some criticisms. But I also feel like, depending on how I argue those criticisms, I mean, I can probably talk myself out of it as well. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's kind of an odd point. So we'll kind of get into it deeper. Do know that there are going to be spoilers abound. If you don't want to know anything about it, this is not really a spoiler-esque movie anyway. But if you don't want to know anything about the movie, turn away, go watch it, and then come back.
But have a good day. Thank you for coming in. I'll see you next week.
So where to begin? I guess let's talk about the characters themselves and the portrayals. I thought Chris Pratt was absolutely fine as Mario.
Same.
He crushed it like a Goomba,
He did. I don't think there was ever a moment, unlike someone, and when I say this, it's no offense to the actors.
Right.
Anya Taylor-Joy was doing Anya Taylor-Joy. Charlie Day was doing Charlie Day.
It worked.
Chris Pratt, he did a Mario kind of impression, but never once was I sitting there listening to his voice just thinking Chris Pratt the entire time.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, and Mario's got a different voice, and there's that hint of New York in there, but same, and Charlie did it too. I'll give him credit. They both kind of put in that work to put in the accent for Brooklyn.
Exactly.
So he didn't just come off as a simple, unlike someone maybe like Seth Rogen, who that was. But what more do you expect?
I loved that though. Like that's kind of I could see that being the voice of Donkey Kong going forward, and I'd be okay with it. The Seth Rogen laugh was there to represent. It was great.
Yeah, you can't not laugh along with it. It's just so infectious.
Yeah. In the most appropriate scene too, when Mario had gotten the small mushroom and he just staring at him.
That was good.
And it was like, that was perfect.
Yeah.
So, no, the performances I thought were all well and good. I thought everyone did a great job. I don't feel like anybody stood out as good or bad. I thought everyone did good. for what they were.
I will say, though, I feel like the one that threw me off, and it's not a main character, but Cranky Kong.
Yeah,
that was the
Fred
only one
Armisen.
where I was like, yeah, I like that guy, but like, that's not what I think of when I think Cranky Kong, you know?
Now that you mention it, I will kind of agree with that. He did feel kind of out of place, you know, like the voice wasn't necessarily matching the character. Again, no offense to Fred Armisen, he did a fantastic job. It's just, I guess I was expecting something a little bit more crankier and older, more curmudgeon-y.
Yeah.
Right.
And he just seemed to be doing his voice. You know?
Which is weird because he's got an arsenal of voices he can pull from.
Yeah.
He
He's a
does.
super talented individual, so
That's true.
I don't know.
And that's something that maybe they can explore or maybe tweak in subsequent sequels or spin-off movies that may or may not happen. I think they were setting stages for spin-offs. I mean,
Oh, sure.
especially
so.
Donkey Kong Country.
That has to
So,
happen. That has
what
to
about
happen.
what about the music in the film?
I was actually going to say that was awesome.
It was incredible.
That was my wheelhouse of music,
Yeah.
you know. So definitely the soundtrack was good.
I want the soundtrack. It's
Yeah.
just fire. Like-
I think I'm probably going to listen to the score at some point this week because everything about it and how well placed certain musical cues were, whether it's just for a scene underground, you hear the
yes.
or something like that. When Mario got the Tanuki suit, you heard the sweeping score from the land overworld from part 3, and I was like, oh god.
Yeah.
And if you know that music,
Yep.
if you know it inside and out, you hear it, you're just like, there it is.
And I was wondering, is it just my nostalgia glasses with this movie? Is that why I loved it as much as I did? Because like it was just inundated with like references.
Oh, it was reference after
but
reference after
but
reference.
they all felt intrinsic to the movie. Like the music worked perfectly for the movie, but it also happened to be just like reference after reference, like audio cue, like, oh, I remember playing that game, you know, like, you know. So
And like you said, all the Easter eggs, which I think we'll probably tear apart as many of them as we can here.
It's done,
Because
if you played any game with Mario in it, it was repped in this movie, I feel.
yes.
and like you said, none of them felt out of place to the story. Like nothing felt ham-fisted in. For example, one of my favorites that I didn't see coming was the capes. The Super Mario Brothers, and they were wearing the yellow capes, and I was like, that is perfect.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't need all the, and granted, they could still whip out the feather in another movie or something like that, but just cutting that out completely because they had so many other power-ups to choose from.
Yeah, we got the
And then they
raccoon
just
suit.
said, well, screw it. Let's just put up, you know, the capes and you can show them flying. And I was like, well, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That is so perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
good nod.
Another one that I really liked right at the beginning, I mean, I felt like it was just littered right at the beginning, is at the Punch-Out Pizza Parlor.
Yes. There were so many NES references during the New York segments.
You take a look on the back of that wall, I saw Glass Joe doing like that in a
I was
picture.
trying to look hard. I'm like, there's got to be stuff back here. I was in every scene, even.
There's a Duck Hunt reference.
I didn't see that. Where was that?
It was, I think, in the Mario's house. And again, is their last name Mario? I don't know. That wasn't really discussed.
Now they
but-
never touched on that.
Yeah, because it's Mario Brothers.
Right.
They skirted
So I
around
just-
that. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was like a Duck Hunt plaque. It was like a duck plaque. It was weird.
I
It
missed
was
that.
like, and another one that a lot of people probably didn't notice was Pauline was in the movie.
I saw that.
Yeah,
She was on the news.
So Donkey Kong reference. Yeah, OG Donkey Kong arcade.
There was Jumpman in the pizza parlor,
Yeah.
which obviously they tweaked it or whatever. But
And did you
I was
catch-
just like,
Did you catch who was playing the Jumpman arcade?
well, that was the actual Jumpman, was it not?
It was I mean, the way he was looking, the way he was dressed and stuff, but the guy who
Yeah.
did the voice was Charles Martinet,
Yeah.
the original Mario voice. So it's a nice little
Yeah,
yeah, it was cool.
Then why didn't you just cast him? That's funny.
because he was doing his Mario voice with that Italian stereotype.
He only ever really had to do like effort sounds, I guess.
But he's actually in the movie quite a bit. I think he plays a few different characters, so they definitely like threw him a bone, which is cool. Yeah, he plays Mario's dad even.
No kidding.
Clever.
I was wondering who was playing
I didn't realize that until I was reading the credits. Yeah. See, I do stay for the credits.
For people who stay for the credits, yeah.
But see, he's not really doing a voice right there. He was just kind of talking. You know, he kind of had a little accent, but that's why it never. Because I immediately knew who he was in the pizza parlor. But it never dawned on me about being his dad. So that made a lot of sense. Holy shit, that's awesome. And I did.
Oh, cool.
Now, let's talk about that for a second. Getting to see Mario's extended family, I thought I wanted more of that.
Yeah.
That was one of the things.
This is the heart of the movie.
Is it canon that he hates mushrooms?
I don't think so.
Tell me
was
that
brilliant. That blew my freaking mind. I loved it. It's so funny.
Like, it was just a cute little addition.
Yeah.
Okay.
It felt like those little things like that made sense to the story itself, like how you kind of portray this stuff within the movie that even reflects back on us. Okay, because for example, they were talking about how he never gives up, how he takes a beating and he never gives up. That's what you do in the game.
Yeah, trial and error.
You keep going. You die, you keep going. That theme, and I was like, that's perfect.
It. I almost got like a tear in my eye because it was just so perfect, that message, you know? So it's like, not only did they get this Mario movie right, you know, but there was an actual like meaning to it, you know? Like you take out all the references, you still have like a really heartwarming movie, you know? Yeah. Like a good family movie that also speaks to us, you know?
Yeah.
The fans that grew up with this stuff.
People who played it
the
on the
adult
OG
kids,
systems.
yeah.
Now, I do
only 90s kids will remember.
I do want to talk about, I guess, kind of going back to his family, but this is also kind of the crux of my issue with the film that I'm struggling with.
Sure.
Which is everything felt a bit rushed.
The pacing was very fast.
It almost seemed as if you go from one point to another and everything conveniently just kind of pushes the story along with, say, for example, where they meet his family, they come home. It's a good scene, but I wanted just a little bit more. I felt like just a little bit more of that.
I could see that.
To kind of get an understanding of all the relationships around the table. I mean, granted, we do get Mario feels like he's letting his dad down, or that he, you know, his dad didn't respect him. So you get that.
Yeah.
But I guess I wanted just a little bit more substance to it. Again, kids movie, I get it.
That's why.
But it just feels like it could have had just a little bit more heart to it, a little bit more substance there. When they go to the Mushroom Kingdom and he shows up, who shows up? Toad. And it's just like, hey, you're going to come with me. And then they go to the Mushroom Kingdom and it's like, okay, all right. He gets to the castle. He meets Peach and she's like, you're going to come with me. And I'm like, oh okay.
Yeah, everything was just super easy.
Yeah. And
barely an inconvenience.
Yeah, exactly. So again, I understand it was made with kids in mind. Yeah. But also to an adult audience. I think that's where a lot of the Easter eggs and stuff come into play. But it was that hurriedness of the plot that kind of bugged me at times, because I was just like, well, slow down a little bit. I want to take this in for a minute, and you're kind of just moving way too fast. I want to enjoy myself for a moment. So that was a nitpick for me, and I don't know how you guys felt about that.
Well, okay, so
I do.
We were talking. I think Lucia and I were talking about this before we started recording. But the 90 minutes I thought was kind of perfect for what it was, you know, because like I was thinking if it had gone on a little bit longer, maybe it would have not worked as well. You know, I think maybe the punchiness of the pacing in the movie kind of worked in its favor. Sorry. But yeah, I don't know. I would, at the same time, I would love a director's cut or like a longer version, you know, to really like flesh out some of those moments. But at the same time, I guess I'm thinking this movie did so well, we're probably going to get a sequel. I hope so. And we might get more of that, you know, Mario and Luigi together, you know, because they were separate for most of this movie, which I think really worked for the movie, for this story. But like, I would love to see more of them together because they were great. The way the chemistry between them as brothers was great. That was, I don't know, they captured some lightning in a bottle, I think.
Yeah.
It was fun. They were cute.
Yeah.
And
I feel like it was just I did for a moment there feel like we were just trying to shoehorn in as many things about Mario that anyone could possibly ever remember. So I think that was the reason why I felt like it was moving too fast and not staying in one thing. Like the movie was like, I've got to make sure I hit every Mario reference known to man, which was fun to catch. But like you said, if they were doing a sequel, I feel like we could have moved some of those into a sequel box instead of all of them having to be in one movie. Because shoot, I even missed some as I'm listening to y'all talk, but it just was like reference after reference after reference. Mario 1, Mario 2, Mario 3, Donkey Kong, Mario Kart. I was like, Jesus, hold on.
Did we even
Pick
mention?
one.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Did we even mention the Wrecking Crew reference?
No, we have not. But yeah, I caught on that real quick. Yeah,
I mean, it was kind of like he was a character, Spike. You know, that was awesome because like a lot of Mario fans aren't even aware of that game. You know,
right.
I loved it. You know, but like that was a good deep cuts one.
There was another deep cut that I saw, and I want to say it was in Mario's room, but I could be wrong about that. But it was a picture on the wall, and it was a polar bear from Ice Climbers. And I was like, and it's those little details right there that I really like because they're not Mario specific. They're just Nintendo adjacent. So you see it and you might not know what it is, but if you know it, you're like, that's cool.
Yeah. And there, of course there's a billboard that had like a balloon fight reference, which is great. But how meta was it that we got to see Mario playing an NES?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Kid Icarus. That was that was awesome too.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I did enjoy that very much. The beginning I thought was super fun. I really did enjoy all that with their commercial and
definitely the Mario rap,
which
is awesome.
So I do understand wanting to have sat there for a little bit longer, because that was new. We didn't really have any Mario backstory. Is there? I mean, there's sort of a story to Mario, but is there?
Well, there is now.
So there is now. But I'm just when you were playing the games, like Save Peach. Yeah.
Well, okay, you mentioned that was the other thing I loved about this movie is that they kind of flipped the tropes a little bit, which needed to happen, in 2023. I'm so glad that Peach wasn't a damsel in distress. I was a little worried about that going in, but like they nailed it. They made her an awesome character with agency, and I want to see more of that. She was one of my favorite characters. I thought she was great.
Yeah. And I loved it. It was like we were just trying to save Luigi.
Yeah,
I'm like,
cool. That
I just
actually
loved
makes
it. As
sense. He's
soon
the
as you
damsel.
met Peach, she's like, "Let's go. We're fighting this. I'm saving my kingdom. Let's go." I'm like, beautiful.
Yeah, that was great.
Love it.
Yeah.
Now to kind of piggyback off of what you guys were saying about expanding upon it, director's cut or what have you, I get it. And I think that's where I kind of get stuck in between it because if we did expand, much like you were saying, Lace, it may drag, it may get stale, there may be something about it. So in essence, I feel like I need something more, but then I have to tell myself, what exactly am I looking to get? Right. What specific thing do I need for an extra minute or 2 or 3 here and there? I don't know. So it's a middle ground that, and kind of what you said, Eric, we got sequels we're probably going to get.
I would hope so. Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I don't doubt that it's going to happen.
I need my Donkey Kong Country movie. That's all I want in life.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
So I can't imagine that they wouldn't take the opportunity to expound on something, if possible, in a sequel. I guess that's all I'm hoping for is that this was let's set the table. Here's everything you need to know. We'll hit the basics real quick, and then from here we can expand on the story, the characters, and tell something a little bit more, juicier or deeper with family or characters or what have you. I don't know.
It's all about family.
Talk about this is one interesting bit that they kind of set up that I was really surprised by because I was like, are we going to go here? And we've never talked about this. They've never touched on any game that I'm aware of, but Peach's origin.
Right. That was brilliant too.
True.
Yeah.
They just laid it out there and says, I don't know where I came from.
Yeah, and she's one of the only humanoid characters that's
token,
not from Brooklyn, so it's like that's
Right?
kind of weird. Like, yeah, she's
humans are Brooklyn. That's it.
How is she royalty in a kingdom of mushroom people? Like,
Yeah.
and
Probably because she was the only human to like appear there.
yeah,
So they're,
it's like a
well,
Wizard
this
of
is our
Oz
leader
kind of
now.
situation. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah,
Yeah, it was very interesting to just have that sprinkled in. It was just setting that seed. It was just like, we're going to put this right here, and we'll come back to it later.
and Shigeru Miyamoto had to sign off on that, so like
Sure.
that's canon now, in my opinion.
So I guess my question is that something he's been thinking of? And maybe he has an idea and he just doesn't want to share it. Because if you look at the Mario history, I know that there is a deep conspiracy about Rosalina,
Right.
who's a character that they kind of hinted at because we had that Luma in the cage, which, tell me that wasn't some
my
of the
God.
funniest
I
shit.
literally just wrote that down so I could remember to talk about it.
Yeah.
That was my wife's favorite character, the nihilistic Luma.
Mercy.
So good.
Ah. Oh my God, I loved it so hard. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That would be me in this situation probably. As I was like, oh my gosh, like I relate.
Yeah.
Like the sweet release of milk.
But there was, so we had that connection, and then she looks to the stars to talk about her origin. So I'm curious if that's where they're headed with it, but I don't want to speak truth to that because I know that that's part of the theory.
There's a line in the movie where Peach is looking out at the stars and she says there's a lot of galaxies out there. Mario Galaxy, conspiracy wall behind me. Like, like it's happening.
Yeah.
That's where they're going with it, I think.
Yep.
Now, one thing we have not talked about, and I'm surprised we haven't, is Bowser.
Oh my.
Oh,
God,
I figured
Jack
you were
Black.
waiting to a certain beat because how do you not talk about Bowser in this
Because
movie?
So good.
I'm sure that earworm has been in your head all weekend. Peaches, 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 peaches.
Oh man.
I mean-
They used him so well in this movie.
You can't not love him. It's 110% regardless of what he's doing. And it's
Scene
just
with the
amazing.
piano where he slams
Yes!
the, like all of that was so good. The rock concert with the Koopas.
Yes.
That was like the most Jack Black thing ever. I loved it.
I think I was taken aback at first when he went from, because the way they've kind of portrayed him in the trailer is he was just this menacing beast.
Yeah.
You know,
And he was
and
that.
that's how the movie started.
Yeah.
With that menacing creature, and it's like everybody's afraid of it. And then as soon as we get I'm so in love with Peach, I was like, whoa, wait a second. But then it just makes sense
under the spiky
but
shell.
it makes sense because that's what he's all about, is trying to kidnap
Trying to
Peach
take
and trying to marry her. And I was
Which is so weird.
it did.
I like
It felt
that the Koopas were like,
yeah.
Right? At least we were making some of those known in today's day and age. Like,
yeah,
maybe-
like
maybe
when
this
she says
isn't
no,
so cool.
like consent, you know?
Yeah. Like, can't just steal her like we've done for the last 50 years.
Yeah, yeah. I'm so glad they dealt with that.
Yes.
Yeah. So what else?
The Mario Kart stuff.
Mario Kart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
that's where I was about to head.
I was worried going in, like, how is that going to play into it? But it kind of felt integral. It felt like it worked.
Yeah.
And I mean, huge spoilers again. The blue shell reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that was a plot point in this movie. Not to mention all the power-ups. Like, there were so
Yeah.
many.
Yeah.
How did they do this? Like, the writing was so good and so nerdy. Like,
Right.
they balanced it, I think, you know? Like,
Right.
it seemed like an impossible task, you know?
I think it would have been great not to have a number of those power-ups spoiled in the trailer, and they
Yeah.
just appeared.
Yeah.
Like, there were a few, obviously, that we weren't aware of because
Yeah,
the
less
Cat
is more
Mario.
when it comes to trailers, for sure.
Right.
But,
Because I remember Cat Mario got spoiled.
yeah, I kind of
The-
wish. Yeah.
The mini mushroom is the one that didn't for me. So
was
as soon as
brilliant.
I saw it in his hand, I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to get stomped
And I was like,
on.
Is this?
Yeah.
Is this?
And then
Yeah.
So that was kind of a treat. The ice flower was a treat.
So cool.
Yes.
Because I didn't even think about those.
And it wasn't
then
in the
here
boat
she
When
comes
she
with it.
started doing it, I had totally forgotten about it until then. I was like, oh my God, yes, I remember now.
So good.
Yeah.
The
The
Babam.
Tanuki suit.
The King
The what?
Babam scene.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God. Where he's like, ah. Oh man. Yeah, sorry.
There was
We could
another
go on
villain
and
in that.
on.
Who? There was another villain in that crowd.
There was
And I can't
a
remember who it
lot
was.
of
It was another-
references.
They even did like the I
There was a
can't remember his
Boo?
name now. The little Donkey
Yeah,
Kong.
King Boo.
King Boo.
Thank you.
That's who
yeah,
it was.
Yeah, there was
Oh,
a couple
Diddy
of them
Kong.
when they went to the audience. Diddy Kong.
Yes,
Thank you.
yeah.
And I was just like, okay, this is kind of cute when they're just pointing to people in the audience that are like cheering for one or the other. You know,
The
And they're
DK
fighting.
rap made it into this movie. Are you freaking serious? What? Is this reality? Like I
Yeah,
was losing
it's
my
so much.
mind. Yeah.
But that shows that the filmmakers know their audience.
They
here.
do.
Like they knew every little detail that people wanted to see, people wanted to hear, and they included it because even going back to the beginning, the Super Mario Brothers Super Show rap.
Yes. Yeah.
That was like,
That was
how
the
are you going to
best.
do that? I would love to hear that, and then they incorporated it into a commercial. So same with the Donkey Kong rap.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So I'm gonna do a little defensive talk right now for the 1993
Okay.
Super Mario Brothers movie since I haven't had a chance. Now, am I saying that this movie is on par with that? No. Okay. But if you want,
Two very different beasts.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah.
Oops,
You
sorry,
can't
I said
even-
beast.
Yeah. You can't
oh
even
God, don't
compare
get us sued, Lace. Come on now.
I know.
them. Beast.
There's a monster out there,
Monstrous.
and it's coming after us.
Monster.
Anyway,
Unleashed. Bowser Unleashed.
Bowser
They didn't
Unleashed.
go after Nintendo for that. I'm sorry.
right.
Yeah.
So
Bowser's Fury. Sorry.
I probably have stated here, but not in great detail, I'm a defender of the Super Mario Brothers movie, the original, with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. I know
enough.
that it's not a favorite of people. I understand it has problems,
It's weird.
but I feel like there's a good movie in there. This is my argument that I've said. There's a good movie in there somewhere, and I hate that it has turned out the way it has.
Yeah.
There's a work print cut that adds in stuff for good or for ill because I've seen
That's
that
cool.
as well, and some stuff is great.
Yeah.
and then other stuff you're just like, I could do without that.
Yeah.
Um,
It has its
but there-
moments. It's entertaining, if nothing else.
right.
And here's the thing is, I know I complained about it to death recently on Podcasters Disassembled, but what was I going to say? Oh, now the fact that this new one exists makes it okay that the other one exists, at least in my mind, you know, because like it is its own thing. And like, we got a good Mario movie. So I'm like, okay with that one existing now. Does that make sense? Kind of like,
It's like when it was our only option, you're like, damn it.
right. Yeah. Like the Star Wars prequels used to be very painful for me because I thought it was the last Star Wars movies we would ever get. We've had Star Wars movies since, Star Wars very much alive, so I'm okay with the prequels existing, even though they're not perfect, to say the least.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so it's kind of the same thing with this, I think.
And I was kind of hoping that they would have given just one teensy weensy little,
Like a
reference back.
reference,
Maybe they
yeah.
did,
I-
and I just didn't catch it.
I was
but
kinda
I was
looking
hoping
for
for
it.
something. Yeah, just
Yeah.
something simple.
I think it would have been hilarious when they came back into Brooklyn, just one live action scene
Oh God, yeah.
with
Well,
those
see-
two, and then be like, what? And then go
Yeah.
back through the piping, and then bam, you're back where
They
you
should have given a nod to John Leguizamo at least. You know, like he's
Well-
still around, like he's great. He did good in that movie, so like give him, a shout out. Yeah.
And I understand he's also very upset about the movie not
Yeah.
casting people of color in the roles because
That's a
they had an
fair
opportunity.
point. Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, I guess we have Keegan-Michael Key, right, as Toad. But yeah, I don't think there was any Latino actors.
Oh my
the
goodness, you
cast.
might be right.
I mean,
man.
outside of the guy who played Spike, whose name I can never pronounce,
Oh.
Sebastian
Yeah,
Maniscalco or something.
There you
like
go.
that?
Yeah.
but that's
Okay.
that's a fair point. That is valid.
But I think he
criticism, which
meant-
I hope they correct in the next one. I guess.
Right. And I think he meant that for the Marios themselves, so like Italian Americans, kind of have that heritage in their blood. So why not cast someone of equal character and stature? So I get that, but here's something they could do. Whether or not it's going to be great, I don't know, but they could reference if they do a sequel, which again, I think we're pretty well set. That's going to happen. They made a movie about Mario and Luigi and their adventures because they came back to Brooklyn. Everyone saw it. And then that could be the movie.
Oh.
See? And then people are like, nah, it was no good. I didn't care for it.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And then they could have their thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
that'd be funny.
No.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not going to sit there and say that Super Mario Brothers, the original movie, is some hidden gem. But there are a lot of good things in there. And I think one of the things that I love the most about it comes down to Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. Their chemistry together is so on point that that's what I love watching when I see that movie. It's just seeing the two of them together. There's a scene at the dinner table at the beginning when they're doing the double date.
That's a good part of that movie. All the Brooklyn stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry again. That all the Brooklyn stuff in that live action one actually held up pretty well because it was fun. It felt like it gets weird when they go to the
they go into Dino Hatton
and all of that is weird to me. But yeah.
And I think that's what I was kind of hoping for with this film is you had something so solid in the original film that I was hoping to carry over some of that and explore more of, because we know Mario and Luigi in the Mushroom Kingdom. Let's get to know them as they were before they went to the Mushroom Kingdom in Brooklyn, outside of just being plumbers. I mean, definitely. At least in this, it was like they're trying to start a plumbing business. Like they're just now getting it off the ground. So this was an exploration of that in some way. So I was kind of hoping to see just a little bit more of it, especially when they went to save the city and that just failed. It didn't feel like they did anything to do, because I don't know. I guess I was expecting they were going to be in the middle of trying to save the city and then that's what leads them to the pipe that goes, I don't know.
Yeah, that was kind of a, I felt like we were just trying to figure out a way to get them there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it kind of, just a little bit more, script writing, just kind of refine the scene, and I guarantee it could have worked out. But it's a minor little gripe. It's a lot of fun. Oh, yeah. And talk about the ending.
So, okay.
Because this was...
Real quick. So... There wasn't necessarily a 90s Mario Brother reference in the movie, but I got some major Mario Brother, I got major vibes when they went into the sewers, with all the pipes and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
That looked like one of the sets from the 93 movie.
I could see that, yeah.
You know what I mean? That part where, Mario falls or whatever and hits the thing and bounces up. Yeah. That looked like that set, and I was like, is that a reference? I can't tell. Are they going for that same aesthetic? But maybe I'm stretching. I don't know.
It could be a very obscure reference.
Yeah. Anyway.
See, they could have had them do their little glug, 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 glug.
Oh, man.
Instead of, they did their super handshake high five or whatever. But the ending, that was another thing that I was really surprised by when you were kind of talking about the two brothers coming together at the end.
Yeah.
I had this inkling in the back of my head that it was just going to be Mario grabbing the star.
Yeah.
And then being the hero.
Yeah.
But then when I saw it was going to be both of them, I was like, great, good.
Yeah,
it's Mario Brothers, the movie, not Mario.
Exactly.
So I was so excited to see that Luigi got his moment to shine because he'd spent most of the movie in the cage.
Yeah.
Which was, because...
It fits his character, but
Sure.
He was the one we needed to save in this movie.
No, that was good, though. Yeah.
And I'm hoping that in the sequel, we actually get to see more of Mario and Luigi together, because that is another thing that kind of... I understand for the sake of the movie, it had to kind of go that way, but it also felt like you took away that one element of Mario that is kind of intrinsic to Mario, his brother. And we didn't get to see a lot of their relationship throughout the film, and I kind of wanted a little bit more of that. So I'm hoping we get that in a sequel.
Sure.
Yeah. Do you think that the second one is going to take anything from Mario Brothers 2? like bringing wart?
No,
I was wondering if anything was in there because I'm like, what do you pull from it?
We had the Shy
her
Guys.
dress thing,
The
I think,
dress
was the only one I
reference
could
was
think of was when she was floating down and
Yeah.
the dress came up so she could float. That was the only thing that I thought maybe was from there,
Yeah.
but it's been so long and I hated that version.
Really?
I know, it was
I have
just
so much
couldn't get into
nostalgia
that
for
one
that.
for some reason.
Doki
I
Doki
tried.
Panic, I know, but
Yeah.
Birdo, there's a lot of cool things they could bring in from that. The problem, I guess, with the story is that it was all a dream. So
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think they could play with it if they wanted to, but where you go with it, what you kind of bring in to flesh it out, and do you make it a dream?
yeah,
That pisses people
probably
off, I'm
would.
sure.
Yeah,
I'm over that trope.
it's so it's so played out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like, just
it
figure
was
out how to
mind blowing
write
at the
end of your
time
movie.
as a kid.
Well, sure. When it used to be a new thing, but now it's kind of I feel a cop-out excuse to just figure out how to
sure.
end your shit,
Yeah.
Like,
So, Lace, you said you didn't see the end credit scene, so
No.
let's break
yeah,
them
tell
down.
me what it was, because, like,
yeah, the Easter
So you didn't
egg.
really
I mean, the
miss-
Sorry.
Well, I was going to say you didn't miss anything because there were two. You had your mid-credit and your end credit.
oh,
Now, your mid-credit, it was just kind of going back to show where Bowser was, and he's back to playing Peaches.
oh, okay, good.
But-
so he's,
Still small,
He's
in a
tiny.
cage. Yeah.
aw,
Is it a little
he
bird
was-
cage?
Yeah.
aw. In whose house?
In the castle.
Yeah.
Peaches
Oh,
Castle.
nice.
So he's a prisoner still, so
Yeah.
we see where he wound up, and
They gave him
then
his piano, so like,
That
At
was
the-
good. A shrunken piano, it sounds
Yeah.
like. I would have had to have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then at the end, Eric, I'm going to let you describe this one because
Okay.
I actually missed this.
Did you?
I knew it was there, but some people were being rushy out of the theater.
So, okay, the easiest way to describe this, do you remember the end of the 98 Godzilla, the American
Yes.
Godzilla, where they go to like the sewers or whatever, and then there's that one egg? That's exactly what they did for this movie, but it's a Yoshi egg. Like, it almost was the exact same in credit scene, and I didn't realize it till later. I was like, were they riffing on that? Because like
That's awesome.
Like they like it's like this mysterious pan over like through the rubble in Brooklyn or whatever under the sewers, and there's this one single Yoshi egg, and then it cracks. And then it cuts to black and you hear Yoshi, like the cute little. It was so cheesy. Like it was fine, but like the fact that this came out on Easter weekend and it's an Easter egg and it's a
that's
Yoshi
kinda
egg,
funny.
like it was just again like this everything in this movie works on multiple levels. So
Oh, fun. All right.
Yeah.
So Yoshi, possible then in the next one.
the only issue though
definitely.
with it is that we saw Yoshis in the movie, so it was kind of less exciting. We see a herd of Yoshis go by in one
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
It's
We
a quick
saw
moment.
every Mario
but-
reference.
Yeah, so they could have saved a few things, like you said earlier.
Yeah, for sure. So, outside of that, what else do you guys have to say about this film?
Go see it if you haven't. I don't know why you're listening to us. We just spoiled the whole
Yeah,
movie.
Yeah.
but,
probably,
like,
if you were listening, you
it's
probably
worth
did.
seeing. I think I'll probably see it again.
I think it's worth a rewatch just for the Easter eggs alone, just to pick and try to find anything that you may have missed, because that's what I'm going to be doing. I mean, I was being very observant throughout the entire film, but I know I missed so much.
Yeah, I thought I was, but I'm listening to you two even say some that I was
Went
missed to
right
that one,
over.
You know,
Yeah.
And I was trying to pay attention. I was like, I know there's a bunch in the background here of probably any scene, but there was a lot going on. It was pretty busy, so
Yeah. As far as video game movies, though, it's up there with like Wreck-It Ralph. Like it's one of the best video game movies by far. Which again, the bar isn't very high.
Yeah.
But they cleared it without a doubt, you know?
yeah. No,
And-
it was fun. It was fine. Like I don't see me needing to see it again until it comes home. Maybe like I won't go to the
Yeah.
theater to see it again
I
once
hear
it comes
ya.
home.
Well,
Same reasoning. Like I might want to flip back through it to see what all I missed.
and I'm hoping, this is the first of many Nintendo movies we're going to get, because there's
Sure.
a lot of properties that haven't been touched before,
Really is, yeah.
Metroid, Zelda.
Yeah.
Zelda for sure.
And that could be a more serious movie, even
Oh,
if you
yeah.
really wanted to try
it
it.
kind of needs to be more serious
Yeah.
than this, but
So I guess that's my question there. Do you want to, and this is for both of you, do you want to see Nintendo movies remain within this context as Illumination Animation, doing Zelda movies, Metroid movies, Donkey Kong Country, et cetera, or would you hope that Nintendo would maybe say, all right, well, we did an animated movie here, let's try something live action over here, and actually do the same thing, where you're going to throw in your input to help make it be the best version possible, versus handing off the reins and watching it
That's a great
deconstruct.
Question.
Yeah.
So which would you prefer?
That is hard. I really like this style, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I feel you could do whatever the heck you want in animation. You know,
That's true.
Yeah, maybe so, because then people get too cluttered up, and sometimes even me too, if you put like a certain actor there or name brand there or something like that, you know, just leave it, you know, how we've envisioned it all these years. So I probably would just prefer it to stay in the animation style, like how Illumination did, not like cartoony, but whatever you call that, computer generated graphic style. You know, I think you could do more with it.
I think for me, it depends on the franchise, like on which character and whatnot.
Right.
Donkey Kong Country, this style, absolutely. Because again, most of the characters were already in this. Just do a spin-off set in that world. I want to see that. But honestly, Metroid, I think, would be awesome in live action. Zelda could work either way. But if you're going to do Zelda in animation, I honestly think like anime style, like Studio Ghibli should do it. You know, like make it like Princess Mononoke, you know, like give it that gravitas, you know, like, and I think that would be definitely the way to do that one. So it depends, like Kirby, I could see in this style, you know, like, and again, there's so many, and I'm kind of wondering, like some of these more cartoony characters, are they gonna do like a Marvel thing with it and like lead up to like Super Smash Brothers?
Yeah, like the
Which seems
Nintendo
cheesy.
Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, like
The
I don't
NCU.
know. I don't know how I feel about that, but like I would watch it. You know, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
I mean, if their end goal is a Super Smash Brothers movie, that would just blow
What would
Yeah.
you do though?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is there a story at all in that?
Not really.
I felt like there was kind of a reference when they were fighting. but
Yeah,
maybe
there was a
not.
reference for sure.
Okay.
Like when Donkey Kong uppercut him and he went flying off the stage.
Yeah,
That was
that's what I was
totally
thinking.
yeah, which is cool.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want a Super Smash Brothers movie because like there's characters like Star Fox and Link who I think need to be their own separate things. Like Samus, like that's too serious for crossing over. You know?
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like. I don't know. You can make references to them, but like keep them in their own universes, you know,
Right,
I think, you know.
So here's a really divisive question.
Sure.
Yeah, all right, so if they stay animated
Okay.
and they decided to do The Legend of Zelda, Adult Link or Toon Link?
Like in animation?
If they
Yeah,
stay
like
in
which
animation,
design are we going for? Do you want something like Breath of the Wild? Do you want something like Wind Waker? Something in between?
Oh, that's tough.
This would be hard for me because I really was just a super fan of the original Nintendo Zelda.
Oh,
and
NES.
most of them since have been kind of meh for me. I don't know. I know. It's a very divisive. I know.
Are you
I
serious
know.
right now?
I was scared to like even admit
it's okay.
on Super Mega Crash Brothers that I didn't like Breath of the Wild. I just didn't, and I felt so bad. And I played for like 4 hours. I wanted to love
an
it, but I just
investment.
don't think I need an open world Zelda game. I guess was me. I just maybe getting too much nostalgia for the first.
The original
one.
game
I don't
is
know.
kind of open world though, because you can go to ending dungeon in any order.
But there is still some
Yeah, there's
structure
structure.
to it.
There is like some procedure to it to a degree to get yourself to like you had to go through the certain door a certain number of times or this way to go to do. You know, I don't know, but that was just me. I know. I'm sorry. So
No, it's
my
fine.
opinion shouldn't really matter on this one because I don't know that I'm craving a Zelda anything.
To answer your question, Steven, I don't know if this is cheating, but I would say both. As in Ocarina of Time, like do, you know,
Gotcha.
story where he grows up, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
A coming of age.
Yeah,
I could see them
Link
finding
story.
some middle ground where they would kind of make it fit in. But again, if you maintain the style that this movie had, then you're going to have to maintain that style throughout, and that's where it gets a little tricky because I
that would
don't
be tough.
feel like certain characters would work necessarily or look correct in that style.
Translating to that style would be tough.
Yeah.
For Zelda.
Like you said, someone like Kirby fit in here perfectly.
Oh yeah,
You know?
King Dedede and all that, and you get some celebrity voices in there. Like I could totally get down with that. Link, I mean, with Zelda, I do think that they have to be a little bit more. I don't know. They have to take it more seriously. You know, the material, the canon there or whatever. Zelda canon is kind of weird because it's all. You know, what I mean? It doesn't really connect. It kind of does, but it doesn't. You know, it's a legend, you know?
Right.
Multiverse theory.
Yeah, exactly. There's a timeline, but it's actually multiple timelines, but whatever.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You do whatever you want.
I mean, if they get it right, you know, I trust them after this, you know? Like, I'm down for more Nintendo stuff. Let's see it, you know?
Yeah.
Well, that's all I got on this movie. If you guys got nothing else, Lace, you want to take us out here?
Good. Well, it sounds like that's our show. Thank you so much for being on, Eric.
Yeah, thank you for having me again.
Tell all the lovely folks where we could just harass you and follow you all over the interwebs. But be nice to him.
Yeah,
Don't
I mean,
actually
it's
do the
all
harassing.
good. But yeah, you can find me on most social media platforms at Erik Slader. That's Eric with a K, Slater with a D. And I'm even on Spoutable now. So yeah, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Yeah. We'll see what ends up replacing Twitter. I'll probably be on
I feel like
that.
it's dead to me at this point.
Oh, it's
I
awful.
know.
It has been for
Trying.
years, but yeah, they need something else to.
Yeah, it was never amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you
fact
thought
it
you
got
weren't being
worse.
listened to before, and now it just feels like you're shouting into a void.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a blue check mark.
Right. Yeah.
And the people
The
I
algorithm
followed
is
no longer have it either. Whatever.
It's
Anyway,
awful.
we didn't mean to complain about social
that's
medias,
okay.
but go follow Erik Slader
Thank you.
on all the things and Podcasters Assembled and Disassembled
That's
and all
right.
of the lovely podcasts that you do.
And I got to get you two
Talented
on
man.
the Super Switch Club at some point. Just basically
Yes.
Podcasters Assembled, but for video games. We're doing Game Boy stuff soon.
Which,
I need to. Yeah, you're right. We should. But excellent. Well, then you can hit us up sometime on Twitter at Super Mega Crash. You can go to Instagram to view the weekly icon art Steven puts his time and love into. You can also send an email to supermegacrash@gmail.com. And you can support the show by liking and leaving reviews on your preferred podcast app and even going to patreon.com/Pencil and Paper Productions. You want more than just podcasts? Head on over to youtube.com/Pencil and Paper Productions for more. And we're getting better at Discord. Come on in, join us up. Eric
It's
talks
fun.
with us in there. We have a good time. Links are in the description down below. So thank you so much for listening. I am Lacey Finley,
and I'm Stephen White.
and you could join us again next time, Super Mega Crash siblings. But until then,
Game on.
This one is from my one and only true love, Princess Peach. Peach, you're so cool. And with my star, we're gonna rule. Peach, understand, I'm gonna love you till the very end. Peaches, 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 peaches. I love you. Peaches, 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 peaches. I love you. Oh, Mario, Luigi, and a Donkey Kong too. 1,000 troops of Koopas couldn't keep me from you. Princess Peach at the end of the line. I'll make you mine. Oh, peaches, 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 peaches. I love you. Oh, peaches, peaches, peach, peach.
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.